Hello and welcome to the channel. Today I'm going to discuss Greek monsters and how the myths surrounding them may hold more truth than we thought. I would like to start off with one of the more commonly known monsters, the Hydra. This creature was said to have the ability to regrow two heads if one of them was cut off. This creature is best known for its fight with Hercules. Was the Hydra real, though? I think that it was. I don't believe it regrew heads, but I do believe it had more than one from its beginning. The reasoning for this is simple. Siamese twins are a thing, and any reptile could have laid an egg whose embryos split, but not all of the way. If that egg survives, it could very well produce a two-headed version of whichever reptile laid that egg. Any farmer from the country back then would very well likely see something like this and assume that it is a monster. Add a little exaggeration and we go from this to this. Next, let's talk about the Cyclops. They're said to be giants with one eye. We have huge people today, and we have one-eyed people today. This being the case, the Cyclops, although likely very rare and a bit exaggerated, did exist. It's also likely they looked less like this and more like this. Now let's chat about Medusa, the most famous Gorgon. Her story is actually very messed up. In the story, she journeys to Athena's temple and gets attacked by Poseidon and cursed by Athena for some reason. She was made hideous, with snakes for hair, and her gaze would turn the living to stone. Was she real, though? As a monster, I say no, but as a real person, I would have to say probably. A woman walking alone gets followed and then gets attacked by a man. This is far from unbelievable. I would argue that after she escaped, she was so badly scarred and or disfigured that she wished to not be seen again. The rumor of her curse and powers were likely spread by her or her attacker after she fled society to deter people from looking for her. Moving on, we have the Minotaur. The Minotaur was the offspring of a human woman and the Cretan bull. This half-bull, half-man lived in a labyrinth on Crete and killed often. It is far more probable that the labyrinth is just a cave he lives in on the mountain. The half-man, half-bull routine is probably just this guy wearing something like a bull pelt to keep him warm and scare the locals away from his cave. Classic hermitry. Those four were likely real, misunderstood living beings. The next two, however, are not. The sirens are a tale as old as ocean boats, I would guess. Beautiful, mostly or completely naked women who lure men to watery graves with their sweet music. They were not real. I believe their songs were, though. I believe those songs were a mixture of the ocean sounds along with the winds hitting various surfaces at various times and speeds, creating a melody that attracts people based on curiosity, not naked demon women in the middle of the ocean. Depending on the tides, these solid objects may not always be visible, so if one were to hear that melody and travel towards it, the solid objects could be submerged before arriving, which could ultimately lead to a ship collision, sinking, and losing all hands. This myth very possibly comes from a time prior to lighthouses. Finally, the Charybdis. The Charybdis is a giant sea monster that swallows ships whole. Imagine being on that last ship and seeing this swallow the first two ships. Upon returning home, would you not tell tales of how something swallowed half the fleet and you were lucky to even survive? Something like this very well could have happened, leading to the myth of Charybdis, but a monster it was not. It is far more likely that a sinkhole formed on the seafloor, and the first couple of ships were simply too close to the resulting whirlpool. So without even requiring any exaggeration, the myth of Charybdis was born. So far, of all of my videos, I hope you have enjoyed this one the most. If you did, please feel free to like, comment, and subscribe. Take care, everyone, and I will see you next time.